to today's video. I wanted to take you guys through a few of my favorite banded stretches. These are stretches that we do at CFP Fitness a lot before class or after class, and it's just a different way to work on your mobility that usually feels really nice. We're gonna kind of target our hips, our shoulders, our neck, and a whole lot of stuff today. But I also wanted to tell you, like, you can get some of these stretches from the BodyWeight Mobility app. So I just open my app and then I select per tool, and I have a PVC pipe, I have a foam roller, I have a band, a lacrosse ball. I'm gonna select my band, and there's an entire library of banded stretches that could give you ideas. So if you're looking for other ways or mobility ideas or stretching ideas, definitely check out the BodyWeight Mobility app. But the first one, that's one of my favorite that I love to do with my classes, is the banded lat stretch. So we use our lats in almost everything that we do. When we are holding a barbell tight in a clean, when we're doing pull-ups, we're doing so many things in CrossFit, and we wanna make sure that we stretch them out because they are an internal rotator and they can pull on our shoulders to where our shoulder gets stuck in. So we wanna make sure we loosen up our lats so we can have really great posture. So all you're gonna need is somewhere to hook a band. I'm gonna use my pull-up bar, and we'll get into this first stretch. All right, so I hooked my band to the pull-up bar. You guys can hook to a rig post. You can hook to whatever you can that's sturdy because you're gonna be pulling on the band. So you wanna make sure it's sturdy. I'm gonna set mine for 2 minutes per side because I like to stretch a little bit longer than a minute, especially when I'm sore. Then I'm just gonna hit play and drop my phone to the ground. From here, I am gonna start on my left arm. So I'm gonna take the band, put it on the back of my wrist, grabbing the band with my hand, and then I'm gonna step away from the pull-up bar. Whichever arm is in the band, I'm gonna kick the back leg gently behind me, and I like to roll my thumb out to the side. Then from here, I'm just gonna think about breathing into wherever I feel the stretch, which is likely somewhere through here, and just trying to relax into it as I let the band gently pull my arm. So I have 90 seconds left on this stretch, and I'm just gonna hold it here. You can even start to drop your back leg to the floor and see where you feel that. But again, I like to rotate my thumb in and rotate my thumb out just to get a little bit of a change in that stretch. All right, so coming up on 2 minutes on this arm. From there, I'm gonna take that into the front rack fixer. So the front rack fixer, I'm gonna take the band just behind my elbow, and I'm gonna grab the hand with my band, or grab the band with my hand, and then I'm just gonna gently lean forward, thinking about keeping my rib cage down and applying just a little bit of pressure from my elbow into the band and breathing. You should feel that stretch all through here. And this is just gonna help us work on opening up our lats, opening up our triceps, so hopefully we can get into a better front rack position. It's important to make sure we're maintaining tight abdominals and squeezing our butt in this stretch as well, so we're keeping tightness throughout our entire body. I'm gonna hold this stretch again. I like this one for about 1 minute because if I do 2 minutes, I feel like my hand starts to go numb. So I'm gonna hold 1 minute per side on this stretch. All right, so I had to take my band off the pull-up bar, and now you're gonna hook it to, again, something sturdy, but you want it somewhere around your knee height. So I'm using our weight rack because I know I can't pull that over. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna step into my band, and I'm gonna put it right up high in my hip capsule. And then I'm gonna come out forwards to where there's some tension on that band. Whichever leg is in the band, that's the leg that's gonna go out front. And then I'm just gonna let it gently pull my knee out. So that's pulling out on the hip, and that feels really nice. So I'm gonna sit here for about a minute, trying to sink into this stretch, letting the band pull back on my hip. And then I like to add in the T rotation before I switch sides. So from here, I'm just gonna try to come down, try to touch my elbow, and then I'm gonna rotate out. And that's one. And it's gonna make it a little bit of a deeper stretch. So touching my elbow and then rotating out. And I'm gonna do about 10 here per side, and then I'm gonna switch and start with a static hold on the other side. You may notice that one side is a little bit tighter, and for me, that's my right side. I can't get my elbow to the ground right now, but that's okay. So once I've done my 10, I'm gonna come out of this stretch. You can start with that same leg if you want. I like to go back to my starting leg, and I'm gonna go through a 2 minute banded pigeon per side. So I'm gonna just pop my leg in this band, stepping out, and then from here, I'm gonna drop my front foot under, and try to sit my hip down. So as I'm sitting my hip towards the ground, the band is pulling back, and this feels amazing. So if you have tight hips, you do a lot of running, this is definitely one I would recommend. Ideally, we wanna get that hip towards the ground and our front leg as perpendicular to our body as we can. To make it a little bit easier, you can pull your heel in towards your hip and just keep trying to sit. But I'm gonna hold this one per side for 2 minutes per leg, and you should feel that all through your glute, down through your hip. And you can even kind of rock your chest side to side to add a little bit of range of motion. If you find one spot stickier, just hang out in that spot. And I like to try to take big, deep breaths and direct my breath down into where I feel the stretch. Again, you might notice one hip is slightly tighter than the other, and that's okay. So once I've finished my banded pigeon, I'm gonna come up slowly, and I'm gonna work on my hamstrings. So I do a lot of single leg hamstring curls, a lot of single leg work. So I always like to make sure I stretch my hamstrings and give them a little bit of love as well. So if you need to, you might need to raise the band higher for this one. I'm gonna try with where it's at, but I'm gonna leave the band in my hip capsule. I'll go back to my starting leg, just popping it up here. Then I'm gonna walk out to where there's some tension, and I'm gonna keep this back leg straight as I have a soft bend in my front leg, and I'm just gonna push back and then stand tall. You can hold in that position, or you can continue adding just a little bit of dynamic range of motion. It feels really, really nice in that hamstring area. So I'm actually stretching the leg out in front as I pull that femur back. Good. So I switched legs here, and I think it's important to remember that with our back, I don't want to round our back, because now I don't feel anything in my hamstring. I want to think about a vertical shin out in the front, and I'm pushing my hips back, keeping my back flat, diving in to that front hamstring, and it feels amazing. So just holding there, and I like to add in a little bit of range of motion, so just opening and closing and trying to work a little bit deeper each time, but making sure I'm keeping my spine neutral and my abdominals tight. So now let's work to our wrists. So wrists are super important to make sure we have strong mobility. I know when I first started CrossFit, I had to wrap my wrists because they just weren't strong enough, and they bothered me a lot. They hurt. So now I don't wrap my wrists as much, and I've worked on strength and mobility, and this is a really good one for that. So I like to do this for up to 3 minutes at a time, but I'm just gonna put my palm through the band, and you can have a slight incline, think like 12 inches off the floor. I'm probably closer to 2 feet right now, but we're gonna plant our hand flat, and we're gonna try to keep our palm down. And I like to gently rock forwards and backwards in this position, just letting the band pull my shoulder over my wrist and trying to keep my palm down. The other thing is, notice my fingers are kind of bent right now. I like to try to keep my hand as flat into the ground as I possibly can. So I'm just gonna work in this for 1 to 2 minutes, and then I'll go ahead and switch arms. I saved the best one for last. So I know a lot of us have done handstand push-ups, and we can feel compression in our neck. This is a really good one for that. Or if you tweak your neck and we just want to focus on lengthening the cervical spine, you can hook your band somewhere between like knee and hip height. I had to move over because it was too high or too low. So just find a height that feels comfortable for your band. Then we're gonna lay down, grab our band, and we're gonna put it at the base of our neck. I have to move my ponytail out of the way. And it's just gonna go across my ears. That's kind of a good ballpark. And it's gently pulling. From here, what I'm gonna think about doing is tucking my chin down, and I can move away to create more tension. And now the band is just gently pulling on my neck to lengthen my cervical spine. And it feels awesome. So I'll hang out here for about 1 to 2 minutes, just focusing on my breathing and lengthening my neck. So those were, I think we did 5 of my favorite stretches, maybe 6. But those are some amazing banded stretches that are great for your whole body. If you feel like your shoulders are tight, definitely incorporate the lat and the front rack fixer. Hips are good to do all of the time. We use our hips a ton when we're running, when we're biking, when we're lifting weights. And then the neck one is really good as well. I use that one especially if I've done a lot of handstand push-ups, or I feel like my neck is just compressed, or even if I'm really stressed and I'm holding a lot of tension in my traps. So investing in one of these bands is super helpful. You can hook it to anything that doesn't move. It doesn't have to be a rig post. I just moved mine around my garage wherever I saw fit for the height that I needed. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have any questions on the stretch or the app, I use GoWOD Mobility first. Make sure to drop them in the comments. I'd love to answer those for you. And hopefully you can try these stretches out at home or at your gym, and they'll take your fitness to a whole new level. Make sure to check out the links in the bio. We offer a strength program. We have a closed Facebook group. We have tons of awesome stuff going on. So check out all of those links, and we look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Don't forget to smash the like button and have a great day.